So another game is down the drain in the Las Vegas Summer League, and the Jazz ended up dropping this one to the Sacramento Kings 70-82. It wasn't pretty. There were some highlights, but there was also a lot of lowlights to be had. Part of this is also because Bryce Sensabaugh was also shut down for the remainder of the Summer League. It was revealed in an MRI that he actually has an extensor tendon tear in his left middle finger that will keep him sidelined for approximately 6 weeks, and then they'll end up reevaluating him. But until then, they'll have his finger on a splint and just have him vibe out until training camp comes around, which is acceptable. It ended up putting a lot of pressure on the other guys to create for themselves, to create for others, and just show what they have available to them, which I found to be interesting because it showed that some guys were prepared for the moment and other guys weren't. It also kind of exposed to me that Cody Williams' handle isn't as tight as I once initially thought. It doesn't take away from the fact that I still think he's an extremely skilled player. I still think that he was a steal at the pick that we were able to bag him at 10th. And I still trust that his shooting touch and everything like that is going to end up panning out terrifically. I just think that along with the weight gain that I would like to see him put on as far as muscle goes, I would like him to also have that handle a little bit tighter, because sometimes he was a little bit loosey-goosey with the ball, which obviously is not going to end up being the best for him long term, but temporarily it's not going to be the end of the world. Now, in this one, he did end up playing the most minutes in the game. At 30 and a half, he ended up shooting 6 of 11 from the field, so acceptable. He was 0 of 3 from 3, but it wasn't bad. He did end up hitting both of his free throws, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He also had 3 turnovers, which was but I wasn't mad about his performance. Overall, 14 points. The team got handled in a rough fashion, particularly in the first half, where it was like very apparent to me, at least, that guys like Keontae George and Bryce Sensabaugh were missed because there wasn't a floor general, and Jason Preston didn't play, Kenneth Lofton Jr. still didn't play. It was just a whole lot of not necessarily poor basketball being played, but just not the most interesting to watch, put mildly. Now, Taylor Hendricks did end up having a goose egg as far as his shot chart looked. 0 of 6 from the field today, 0 of 3 from 3. He was 3 of 4 from the free throw line, had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. But that was just a rough offensive outing for him. 26 and a half minutes for him. So that was something we would like to keep an eye on. I would like for him to keep playing and, take that step up, because he is more advanced in my personal opinion. Defensively, I like what he's doing. Offensively, though, I need these shots to start falling. But again, Summer League, give him some time. Let him cook a little bit. I'm more concerned about what he does in the regular season starting out. Kyle Filipowski had a good game today. He finally hit a 3, which is good. It kissed every bit of the rim off the left wing, a little step back, rimmed in and out, popped up in the air, came down. It was nice. 1 of 2 from 3-point range. He was 4 of 8 from the field. He ended up being 4 of 8 from the free throw line as well, which was a little bit of a head scratcher because I feel like he's a little bit better than that. But I digress. He had 5 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive, 2 assists, 1 block. He did have 3 turnovers, total of 13 points, was second on the team. And honestly, I just enjoyed his performance. Defensively, though, there's something that does strike me as a little bit interesting to look at, and it's more so his pick and roll coverages. A lot of times he can be easily confused, and I think part of it is the fact that nobody's directly communicating with him what he needs to say or what he needs to do, and the action between him and other guards that end up being the screened are not always the smoothest of conversations, or just quickly just saying something and letting each other know what they need to be doing. That said, I don't put too much merit into it because it's a very easy fix. It's literally just communication. It's not like an entirely new skill that he needs to obtain, but it does need to be a consistent habit of his that he adds to his bag, and I would like to see him take those steps going forward. It just hasn't happened yet. Overall, though, I would like to say that he has shown that he's vastly improved. He's a little bit more aggressive on offense. At one point, he took Drew Timme down to the rim off a ball denial handoff on the left wing, hit him with a little spin move, went to the basket, finished through contact at the rim. I really like that take out of him. It was honestly my favorite take of his, and he had a couple putbacks dunking that thing, and I just enjoyed it. Tavion Kinsey ended up starting in place of Sensabaugh. He played 18 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 3 turnovers, 9 points total. Solid performance defensively. He was okay. Offensively, he was pretty solid. Just a name to keep an eye out for, probably not on the official Utah Jazz roster after this ends, but still somebody that does deserve some merit. Isaiah Collier, of course, the showman himself, was 4 of 11 today. He played 29-ish minutes, so it wasn't necessarily his best performance, and far from it. The shooting touch wasn't there today, but it's to be expected, growing pains. He was 0 of 3 from 3 today. He was 1 of 3 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. But the concerning part that I was hoping wouldn't rear its head during the summer league at the very least was his 7 turnovers. Now in college, we knew that he didn't have the best system at USC. He didn't have the best opportunities, and he did end up battling an injury. So his turnovers were obviously a concern of many teams' front offices, and that's honestly part of the reason why he ended up falling as far as he did to us. But this is the first game where he had more turnovers than assists, or even close in the realm of either one. So it's something that I do take with a grain of salt, but this is the ugliest version of Isaiah Collier that you could potentially see, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Now, to be fair, there was some passes where guys just didn't hit their shots, but all in all, I would like to say that this is not going to be the conventional, average, normal version of him that we will see. I definitely think that there's an upgrade to be had, and ultimately, I just shrugged this one off, just brush it off the shoulders and let us play on. Defensively, he was what he usually is. Still maintains a lot of control on offense. Just needs to get through the growing pains. And when he's surrounded by people that hit more shots and just has more continuity, I think that ultimately his assist to turnover ratio will look better. And I just don't expect him to have a consistent, 5+ turnover game across the regular season when he does end up playing on that main roster. Keyshawn Justice off the bench ended up being one guy that took things off early, hitting 2 of his field goals back-to-back at 3, and then a strong take to the rim. He ended up being 4 of 6 for the game, 1 of 3 from 3. He was having 5 rebounds, only 1 turnover, 9 points total. He had the highest box score plus minus, ironically enough, at a +12. And in his 19 minutes of action, I liked what I saw out of him. Armando Bacot ended up playing today after being inactive, I believe, the past 2 summer league games. So this was an interesting one. He played almost 17 minutes, was 2 of 2 from the field, was 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and ended up also having 6 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive, had 3 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers, which was second highest. Kind of interesting that it was him of all people, but that was just a small mark on his overall gameplay. He had 6 points total, box score plus minus of a +6. Then you had Max Abmas, who played 21.5 minutes, 2 of 9 from the field. He shot rough, 1 of 4 from 3, didn't have any free throws, had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 points total, box score plus minus, still managed to be a +5. Not too much to look at there, the bench as a whole. Darius Baisley, obviously, I'm fond of him defensively. He did have a couple uncharacteristic turnovers. One in particular was just a loose handle that I was just like, eh. But overall, defensively, he was who he usually is. Didn't have the same hot shooting night that he had the previous night. He was 1 of 4 from the field. He had 4 rebounds, had 2 assists, had 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers, 2 points total, box score plus minus was that +8. It was just a game. It wasn't terrific. It wasn't horrible. The first half was pretty rough to watch. One of the analysts actually said that, that the defense was just abhorrent in the first half. And I actually would disagree with that. The defense actually wasn't the problem. The fact that the offense couldn't score was the problem, because in the first 2 minutes, it was ugly, I will admit. There was like 9 points rattled off in the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I want to say, all going towards Sacramento. So going into, I think, the 20-point mark, Sacramento was up like 25-12 at one point. So things ended up progressively slow rolling, getting better. But defensively, I didn't hate what I saw. Offensively was where most of the problems lied, and I don't trust that these guys are going to end up shooting abhorrent in the regular season, particularly Taylor Hendricks. That 0-6, I don't put too much stock into it. Obviously, he's going to have better plays around him. He's going to have easier looks. He's going to have more opportunities to be put into scoring positions where he can be successful individually. And overall, I just trust the process as far as that goes. For the Sacramento Kings, though, you had Mason Jones, 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He also had 9 assists, led the game in assists, as a matter of fact, had 13 points, box score plus minus, was second highest at 17. You had Isaac Jones, 3 of 7 from the field. He had 7 rebounds, 17 as his box score plus minus. Drew Timme had shot 8 of 12 from the field. He was 3 of 3 from the free throw line, had 5 rebounds, had 4 assists. This was an interesting battle back and forth between him and Flip. He had 19 points, which was second on their team. And then you had Colby Jones at the guard position, going at 10 of 21, shooting 4 of 12 from 3 though, and he ended up hitting 1 free throw, had 6 of his rebounds grabbed, 3 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers, which was tied for second highest on their team. He ended up, ironically enough, having 7 personal fouls. Both of their guards actually were extremely foul prone today. He had 25 points though, which led the game as a whole. Box score plus minus of a +6. And then you had Keon Ellis going 1 of 7 from the field. He was actually getting clamped up, had shot 0 4 from 3, had 3 rebounds, had 4 assists, had 1 steal, but he also had 5 turnovers and 8 personal fouls, which was honestly hilarious. But he also had the highest box score plus minus at a +19. So he was doing a lot of things right, even though he was a little bit rough defensively. Personal foul wise for the Jazz, though, I know I didn't touch on it, but there was nobody that was particularly in foul trouble. The highest number of fouls counted was 3, going to Isaiah Collier, Armando Bacot, and Max Abma. So nothing really important to note for those boys. That said, I do expect them to progressively get better the more they play together and the more they play with better people. I think that the highest grade in this game at the very least goes to Cody Williams, obviously, not just because he was the highest scorer with his 14 points, but because he did it fairly efficiently. Defensively, he was locked in, does need to gain a little bit of weight, but overall, I loved what I saw out of him. Flip also was sneaky good in this one. Also, shout out to Flip. I know I kept saying, he's going to hit his 3, he's going to hit his 3, it's coming, it's coming. 1 of 2, obviously not a big sample size. Overall, I don't remember off the top of my head how many 3s this makes for him, but he's not shooting a pretty percentage to put things mildly, but I do trust that he will continue to get that stroke down and find a way to make it a consistent thing and a consistent flavor to his game, along with his willingness to pass properly and be a more capable passing hub, I believe, as his development continues on down the road. But with that being said, didn't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Hope you're having a good day. It's your boy Ray Hoops. Go and smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and become a member of the channel to help support the content. As always, good morning, good evening, and good night, no matter where you're on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.